This is Uncle E. This is political commentary. Let's begin. Okay, folks, something needs to be said. It needs to be said right now. Criticizing women is not misogyny. Open hatred for women is misogyny. Criticizing men is not misandry. Openly hating men is misandry. The differences between the two are quite easy to spot and tell. Open hate means a broad generalization for all of either sex that portrays all of them in a negative light because of your personal views and opinions. Criticism of either gender, when warranted and when valid, is not hate. It is called criticism. Criticism and hate are two very different things, much like the difference between abuse and discipline. If you can't spot the difference and you can't figure out what the difference is, then chances are you lean more towards the hatred side than you do the discipline or non-hatred side. This becomes apparent when someone criticizes and that criticism is taken in such a manner that it is viewed as hate. I don't hate women. I don't hate men. I will criticize both, openly and honestly. I get tired of some of the things that both sides do. I don't appreciate some of the things that both sides do. I don't appreciate the bad decision making that both sides do. And I don't like the fact that people like me have to pay for the bad choices that others make. It is what it is. I do not like the way our species is or has been. There are many who are elevated in thought and nuance than others, and those people are a little bit easier to deal with than those who are not. Those who think in simplistic terms are not easy to deal with because they make things out of nothing, and it's not necessary. Now, does that mean that I deserve criticism? Oh, yeah. I do wrong things. I do bad things. I do stupid things sometimes. I'm human. I'm not perfect. Does that mean that everything I do should be criticized? No. Does that mean that if people criticize me, they hate me? Not necessarily. I don't think that those who criticize me openly hate me all the time, but I know that there are that do. And those criticisms tend to not be valid from them, or they take something that is microscopic in nature and decide to make it bigger than it is so they can score some PR points for themselves. This is a narcissistic and self-indulgent ideology and philosophy that they have within themselves that has been brought about by malignancy and a lack of hopelessness, a dark void within their soul, so to speak. And it's rather old, repetitive, and tiresome when people take things the wrong way or openly manipulate things into such a way that they can take offense. I find this to be repulsive, and I think it's one of the reasons why I have such contempt for humanity when it comes to situations such as this, where people openly are hostile towards criticism because that criticism makes them look bad, and rather than try to fix their lives and make things better, they decide to openly hate and be hostile towards those who present those criticisms. It's killing the messenger because of the message. It's as old as time is. It's one of the best obfuscation techniques there is, because if the presenter of the message is attacked in such a way, they may or may not be used to such things, and it could put them on their back heels. This, again, is also repulsive, but if you don't know how to learn, or if you haven't learned how to deal with such things, or if you don't have the temperament, the control of temperament necessary, you will be put on your back heels. You will be put on the defensive, and you will be put into a position where the message no longer applies or is no longer relevant. It is now the messenger that must be destroyed, and that is what's going to happen to you. I don't like that kind of thinking. I don't like that kind of action. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there, especially nowadays when society is on its downward slope. There's a lot of people out there who are used to doing such things. Again, it's malignant narcissism, and it really needs to stop. It's the product. It's the product of progressive parenting. It's the product of feelings versus facts. It's a product of a number of different things. And again, it needs to stop. You need to start thinking and stop feeling so much. You need to start using your brain instead of your heart so much, or your emotions. You need to use your intellect rather than your knee-jerk reaction emotionalisms. You need to start thinking. Because the more we digress, the more we devolve in society, the worse things are going to get. So you need to learn to think for yourself. You need to learn to think. You need to learn to control your emotions. And you need to use better judgment. You need to learn self-control and self-discipline. And you need to do these things fast. You need to learn to do these things quickly. Because quite honestly, as someone with a triple-digit IQ and experience in life dealing with humanity's ills, I would suggest to you that learn from the things that you need to learn from. But if it sounds like a load of hyperbolic and hypocritical nonsense, then chances are it is. But you need to learn to think before you make that choice. You need to learn to control your knee-jerk reactions, and you need to do it now. Because quite honestly, if you don't, we're going to continue to devolve. We're going to continue to let the human monsters run things. And if we do that, then we deserve the fate that we get. And the fate that we get is going to be the same fate that has befallen civilizations and societies far before us. And it's going to happen. It's inevitable. And it doesn't need to be if we choose it not to be. This is Uncle E, giving you a morning political rant and a morning sociology rant, because some people out there deserve a rectal lobotomy. Peace.